So, guys, we need to start off with a little dog that has captured the hearts and minds of a lot of people. That would be the one and only Bluey. We have seen that Disney has partnered up with the good people over at Bluey, not just for streaming dominance, because Bluey is the biggest streaming sensation for preschoolers on the planet, but they are coming to the Disney Cruise Line, which is something that we talked about before. They were going to be coming to the theme parks as well, but right now, the only information that we have, Scott Gustin saying in December, Disney announced Bluey and family will be coming to the Walt Disney World and Disneyland resorts, and more details will be announced in the months ahead, but it has been 5 months. But Bluey and Bingo are going to appear on DCL, Disney Cruise Line sailings from Australia and New Zealand through 2026. So this is not even a widespread DCL rollout. You're not going to be sailing to Castaway Cay from any of those East Coast DCL ports with Bluey and Bingo. No. They are only going to be leaving from Australia and New Zealand, their home turf.
Yes, this is beautiful. I get that this is good news, but it's also one of these moments where we get to catch Disney in saying something that maybe is a little bit of not quite the truth. Vash, I think you were about to say something.
No, this is why I love the story, because Scott Gustin is exactly right. They said in the months ahead. And I'm going to share my screen in just a second right here. You can see the big announcement that they had for this right there, Walt Disney Company. Now, this wasn't even Disney Parks blog. This was the Walt Disney Company. This is how proud they were of announcing that Bluey was going to be coming to their U.S. theme parks. And yet we haven't seen or heard any mention of this whatsoever. Now, we did see like a big old media splash for like some Goofy's play area or something that's going to be occurring somewhere. I'm guessing in Walt Disney World. I don't know. I haven't really been keeping up with it.
That is going to be actually a Communicore Hall. So we're now using Communicore Hall, for what it's intended for elementary school gym class games.
I mean, to be fair, it was the best day in elementary school gym class, and definitely you definitely couldn't just buy one of those giant tent things yourself for $200.
When you walked in and there was a parachute sitting in that gym, you knew it was going to be a fun day. However, I didn't pay $189 to get into the gym class that day.
Right. I paid $189 to see the Bluey characters, and yet they're still not there, which is, I think, is absolutely fascinating. That to bring in external IP at all, I think is a kind of a big deal. And well, we've not been just seeing that at the parks, which, Disney has yet to fulfill that promise, unless we're talking about DCL. But now we're talking about, a little franchise that maybe Disney has picked up from Netflix.
Yes, little franchise that goes by the name of Cocomelon. Was one of the biggest streaming hits on the planet. Vash, hold on, let me share this article from mine as well so that you guys can see. And by the way, you see that little red banner up there? That's our VIP membership, which you guys should all be a member of for exclusive articles every single day. But one of the most recognizable names in preschool entertainment jumping platforms, but not because it's still on top. Cocomelon was once considered untouchable in the world of animated children's content, but it is leaving Netflix and headed to Disney. The move to Disney Plus takes effect January 2027, just months before the scheduled release of a Universal-backed Cocomelon movie. So Disney not even developing the movie, but still wants the external IP. But behind the headlines, very different story. Guys, Cocomelon, not what it used to be. And I think a lot of people have been reporting the story as, big win for Disney, snatching Cocomelon away from Netflix. But Cocomelon has declined 60% on Netflix over the last year. It is the number 6 highest streaming show for preschoolers, and now Disney's got it and Netflix doesn't have. But you know what Netflix got? Sesame Street and Peppa Pig. So I think my take was that Netflix let this one go.
I think you're absolutely right. This is a show that you can watch on this platform for absolutely free, unless you're on Twitter. I don't think you can watch Cocomelon on Twitter. Cocomelon is the free babysitting content that most people just stick their kids in front of when they want them to. Please be quiet for a little while. Daddy needs a little bit of a moment here. Maybe a nice cup of coffee. This is not good content. This is not quality children's content, which is what Disney is supposed to be known for. I'll also say that Bluey, not made by Disney, and is the biggest thing on Disney Plus. Cocomelon has the chance of being pretty high up there. Hopefully not as high up as Bluey if quality makes any difference whatsoever. But Cocomelon will beat out all that Disney content on Disney Plus. I'm thinking it will. So is Disney the first name in quality children's entertainment, or is it just the thing you stick your kids in front of cynically while you need to get something done or go take a nap? Which, by the way, I wouldn't trust Cocomelon.
You hand your iPad to the kid in the back seat while you're going on a road trip and put Disney Plus on with Cocomelon. See, I had heard that on YouTube, Cocomelon was pretty like politically neutral, but then once it switched over to actual streaming platforms, we started seeing a lot of progressive ideology and identity politics bleeding into this preschool show.
That's unfortunate, for sure. But I think you guys have both illustrated beautifully that even a declining brand in the realm of 60% is better than, well, Disney's top brands, because they wouldn't be acquiring it if it wasn't viable on that platform, which desperately needs content like this. And this is kind of the crux of this whole story here, is we're relying on other people's IP, maybe not fulfilling your promises in some regard, but we know Bluey is 30% of what any month's viewership on Disney Plus right there. So we know that makes up a large majority of the view minutes for that platform. Cocomelon being added there, we're thinking 20%? That way it could be 50% somebody else's content.
That would be amazing. Yeah, this is in that statistic came from a time when I think Disney Plus had better viewership numbers. So it was while Bluey was hitting hard in the ratings, it was while the show was actively on. So 1/3 of Disney Plus might have been specifically Bluey viewing, which is, really saying something. It is a great show. I'm not harshing Bluey here. It's actually quite good. Probably one of the better sitcoms of the last 5 years. Besides the fact that it's a show that is ostensibly for preschoolers. Maybe it's that parent of many children Stockholm syndrome, but there's stories of parents weeping while watching episodes that they're so beautiful. It's really kind of strange if you've never watched it.
And I've also had weirdo adult friends without kids that have told me as an adult without children that I should watch Bluey, and I said no.
Yeah. One of these days you just might watch it and understand.
Well,
that, it is a little strange for parents with no children adults with no children to be shouting out the praises of Bluey.
Yeah, no, when I have a kid, it's first on the list of things that I will have my kid watch alongside classic Sesame Street episodes. Note I said classic Sesame Street episodes, but you're really seeing a battle for streaming preschool stuff going on right now. And then by adding Bluey into the parks and cruise lines, they're really trying to go back for that preschool audience, but they realize they don't have anything in their arsenal. What does Disney have? Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and Spidey and His Amazing Friends, which I don't think comes anywhere close to Bluey, right?
No, it doesn't. And I will also say that there's an episode of Spidey and His Amazing Friends that has Junkyard Jerry that the Hulk always says they are helping out in the junkyard, going and helping them. Also, Jerry, maybe a boy, maybe a girl. Yeah, the Hulk uses they, them pronouns while referring to Junkyard Jerry, who is, I don't know if Jerry's a boy or a girl or what, but heavy makeup, lots of piercings. Right there, and that's preschool content there. So, yeah.
Spider-Man and his fabulous friends.
I think Jerry might be past the fabulous stage of the waving flags there.
Look, you are seeing now Netflix and Disney, I think, are at war for the preschool audience. And we saw Max, HBO, Warner Brothers, obviously, has completely withdrawn from that battle. They have decided no more preschool content. That's why they got rid of Sesame Street, and Netflix was quick to pick it up. So you're seeing these acquisitions. Netflix taking Netflix taking Sesame Street and Peppa Pig, Disney now with Bluey and Cocomelon. It's gonna be a battle here, and it's gonna be interesting to see if that bleeds over into the parks, more than it already has, or at all, because we were promised Bluey in the theme parks and we got nothing, guys.
That's why it's so profound. That's why I think Scott Gustin is making a point on this, because the whole industry realizes that getting Bluey in the parks is a big deal. This is why we had the big media splash from Disney on this specific point right here. Them not fulfilling this promise is a big deal, especially, I mean, we went over the viewership numbers earlier, but the popularity of this franchise is just absolutely tremendous. And there are amazing opportunities here if they have the courage to pursue them.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll also say that in the press releases where they say that they're coming to Walt Disney World and Disneyland, they describe it not as an attraction, but an activation. So really not expecting anything that can be built into the ground there to be attached to Bluey. It's probably going to be exactly like maybe a scavenger hunt at Fort Wilderness or something like that.
Well, I mean, if they had a character meet and greet, I think that would be a big draw to families, because being able to go and see and meet Bluey and Bingo, I think is going to be huge. But again, them only rolling out the Bluey and Bingo cruise characters from Australia and New Zealand, I think is a huge miss. Why wouldn't you put them in Port Canaveral, which is Disney's biggest, cruise port of them all, Vash?
I actually don't know why you wouldn't actually bring them out in these specific venues right here. The only thing I can possibly think of is maybe a licensing issue preventing them from actually doing that. And we know that there were licensing issues that may have been part of the whole Fort Wilderness fiasco. So I'm guessing they might have encountered something in other ports that maybe doesn't allow them to actually utilize them in this way. It could be a per park, per area licensing deal, not too dissimilar from what we see with Marvel and Universal Studios, how it's like, 250 miles within the Central Florida area, or right on the
east of the Mississippi River, I believe.
East of the Mississippi River, yeah.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see, guys. Is Bluey actually coming to the theme parks? Is Bluey only sailing from Australia? And what role will things like Bluey and Cocomelon play in the ongoing war for preschool streaming supremacy?
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.